In this video, I'm going to be talking about sports betting mistakes that I see all too commonly. Meaning I see people making them every single day. It makes no difference whether they're a newer sports bettor or a more experienced one. People are making a lot of mistakes that are costing them lots of money. I've even seen sports bettors giving other bettors advice that's absolutely horrible. So I hope by the end of this video that I can show you mistakes that people always make, and you can stop making those stupid mistakes and you can actually start making more money. Okay, so the first problem that I see all the time, and probably the most important thing, is people are not managing their bankroll correctly. Meaning if you have $1,000 in your bankroll and you make 4 bets at $250 a piece, that is a stupid way to manage your bankroll. Instead, you want to bet in units, and by units I mean it's a consistent amount that you bet. If you had $1,000 in your bankroll, you would bet 3% on every bet. This would minimize 4 bets that you place, and all of a sudden you have no more money. Think of managing your bankroll as your personal finances. Basically, you know how much you're going to spend on your car payment, your house payment, all your food and your expenses, your gas, everything like that. You have to keep in mind that you have to know how to budget your bankroll, or you're going to be losing a lot of money. The most experienced bettors in the world, they'll win like 60% of the time. That means a lot of the time you're going to lose, and you have to be prepared for cold streaks and know that one bad 3-4 days isn't going to completely wipe out your bankroll. If you want to learn more about managing your bankroll, I've done a complete video on this, so I'd advise you to check that out, and it teaches you everything you need to know about managing your bankroll. Don't bet while you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs. You make stupid decisions while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Did you know that marijuana is legal in 23 states in the United States? Come on, puff puff pass. I wish there was a way to bet on that number being 25 in a year. Anyone got any weed? But seriously, don't make wagers while you're under the influence. When you're out at the bar and you're drinking your Mike's Hard Lemonade, hitting on girls that you know you can't get with, just do that. Don't make bets. Anyone got any weed? Another really common mistake is chasing your losses. Now, what do I mean by chasing your losses? Let's say you're betting on the Oakland Athletics and the Atlanta Braves game, right? Atlanta's a really good team, and Oakland is a pretty crappy team this year. So let's say you're just going to go with the money line for the Atlanta Braves, and you're going to put $100 on them, and they lose the first one. So the next game you're going to bet $200 because they can't lose 2 in a row. Guess what? They lost both of those games. A very strong team lost to a much weaker team. It happens all the time. This is exactly why chasing your losses is a bad idea. I've even seen betting programs where sports bettors would bet on a line and they'll do it up to 3 times so they can recover their money. And that's just a really crappy way to go about with your sports betting. Next, this one's so important. You have to research every wager that you're going to place. Meaning, I don't just have a feeling that Zach Greinke's going to get 5 strikeouts tonight. There's always some sort of data that's telling me, I want to place this wager because the numbers show such and such. Now, I'm going to be a little bit brief on research because there's so many different ways that you can research wagers that you're going to be betting on. But I'm going to be doing a lot of different videos showing you different tactics and stuff that I use and great ways to research stuff that you're interested in betting on. So just make sure that you are researching every play before you actually put a wager on it. Another common mistake that a lot of newer bettors will make, and even experienced bettors will make, is they think that they have to bet on every game. They think, oh, there's a lot of money on games that I'm not betting on, and before you know it, they bet on 10 to 15 games per day, and their bankroll has suffered big time. So keep in mind that you don't want to bet on so many games. In fact, you want to limit it to about 4 or 5 games per day. And look for reasons on why you shouldn't bet for whatever you're trying to wager on. Just do more research and don't get to the point where you're betting on every single game, thinking that you might know the outcome. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Don't bet on it. As a general rule, I'd say 20% of your bankroll every day. Just don't blow through more than 20% of your bankroll every day, because you're going to have cold streaks, you're going to have hot streaks, and when you're on a cold streak, it's really going to cut into your bankroll. When you're on hot streaks, it feels like there's nothing that you can do could go wrong, but you just have to limit yourself and not go overboard sometimes. Don't make emotional bets. Emotional bets are probably the dumbest thing you can do. My girlfriend broke up with me. Probably dumped your ass because you wouldn't stop whining about losing. Don't no one want to hear that? Like in life, anything that you do, anything like your business or anything, when you make emotional decisions, you always make crappy decisions. It's the same thing that goes with sports betting. When the Colts don't score a touchdown all game, and then you think, oh, next game they're going to score a touchdown, and they don't, you lose. That actually happened last year. Seriously, just one touchdown, that's all. Okay, I'm over it. Okay, I gotta say it again. Just don't make emotional bets at all. And if you can't make a logical bet, then don't even place a wager. Your emotions don't mean anything in sports betting. Numbers are what means something in sports betting. Here's another good example on why your emotions don't matter. I hate the Yankees with a passion. Will I bet with them? Yeah. There are certain instances where their players match up really good against opposing players, and I really like taking Aaron Judge for home runs. Statistically, the Yankees play really good at home. They have some of the most dominant hitting and pitching in baseball. But everybody knows, as soon as you get traded to the Yankees, your penis shrinks. Another really common example is loading up on one team. Now, what do I mean by loading up on one team? Okay, so I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan for baseball, right? And let's say they're playing the Detroit Tigers. And Detroit isn't all that good this year. And I know that they got their number one pitcher, Shane Bieber's, pitching tonight, right? Now, Cleveland's at home, and they typically play better when they're at home. So to give you an example of loading up on one team, let's say I take Shane Bieber for the win, and then I take Josh Naylor for a home run, and then I take Jose Ramirez for a double, and then I take Stephen Kwan for a stolen base. Okay, so to show you how this was a bad idea, let's just say Shane Bieber, their starting pitcher, he got hammered and he got knocked out within the first 2 innings, and the Tigers just beat the living crap out of the Guardians. So instead of losing just one wager, I'm going to lose like 4 or 5 because one team had a bad game. So just keep in mind that you don't want to make bets that rely on other bets on the same team, because every team, no matter how good they are, they're going to have bad days. They're going to have days where they don't do shit. I mean, they're going to have losing streaks where they don't hit for 6 or 7 games. Don't just go with where the sharp money is. Basically, what I mean by the sharp money is basically you can go into any sports book and you can see where a bunch of people are just putting a whole bunch of money on one team or player. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen or anything. And honestly, a lot of people that place bets are kind of stupid. They just follow the sheep right off the cliff. Not to mention, following the sharp money basically inflates the wager so it's not worth as much. Meaning a line that started at 110 is now 180. Another one that absolutely drives me crazy is getting in on a wager too late. What I mean is the run line might start at negative 140, and by the time you see it, it's negative 220. You didn't get to it because your girlfriend was on your ass because you wouldn't clean the bathroom. Even though she sits there on the couch all day and just watches The Bachelorette. I'm just saying, it happens. So if there's a wager that you're interested in and you don't get it on the right time and it's already moved and you're not going to make as much money off of it, you might just want to pass on that one. And another thing, what's with girls that will sit there and call you nonstop? If you don't pick up the phone, maybe you're doing something. I'm just saying. Another really common mistake is you have to find the best prices for whatever you're trying to wager on. I use a tool by OddsJam, which is a positive EV tool, and what that does is it scrapes a whole bunch of 140 different sportsbook sites, and it will tell you the best prices. Now, what I'm not saying is don't sign up for 140 sportsbook accounts. I would keep it to 3 to 5, and if you can, maybe get it in the 7 or 10 sportsbook range. But if you get the best prices, like 110 versus 130 is a huge difference. it can really pay off big time if you consistently do that. Again, I use OddsJam all the time when I'm checking sports books, and I'll put a link in the description below for it. But it's really a great tool if you're gonna actually make some decent money with sports betting. Don't listen to your friends. Your friends are probably stupid anyway. Everybody knows West Virginia's a country. Yeah, double down on the Yankees. Let's get some weed. The truth of the matter is your friends probably don't know much about sports betting. You need to research stuff and you need to follow people that actually know what they're doing. Unless Charles Barkley's your friend, then you can listen to your friends. Remember, your friends are good because you can talk with them. Plus, they can bail you out of jail. But seriously, don't listen to your friends' advice for sports betting. The same could be said, you don't go to your friends when you need medical advice. You go to a doctor. When you need legal advice, you don't go to your friends for that. You go to a lawyer. So just don't listen to your friends when betting's involved. Okay, so hopefully this video has helped you on mistakes that you can avoid when you're doing your sports betting. If you like this video, would you go ahead and like it? And don't forget to subscribe to this if you want to hear more awesome sports betting tips. As always, there's links in the description. And I'm out! I gotta go buy a Hummer!